So we all have things that we want to change in our relationship, and it's important to take radical responsibility if you want to change some certain things that are not working well in your relationship. But most times, the way we take these radical responsibilities is always the problem, because we think if I do it this way, I'm forcing my husband or my wife to do what I want him or her to do. But most times we don't know that what we are doing is shutting down our partners instead of having the result that we really want. So the thing about doing that is you will have a temporary result, but that will not be permanent. So you keep seeing your relationship going from bad to worse, and you wonder, why is it happening this way? So this month we'll be talking about relationship poisons. Poisons are the way we try to communicate our needs to our partners. We see them as a good way, but they are not actually a good way. So what to look at first is taking responsibility about the things that are happening in your relationship and saying to yourself, how am I going to help this relationship? So in order for your relationship to grow, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, how am I creating this thing that is happening in my relationship? Because you see, the truth is, most times when we see issues happening in our relationship, we tend to shift the blame to our husbands or wives instead of looking at ourselves and ask ourselves, why is this actually happening in my relationship? So the first thing you need to do if you have to take responsibility in your relationship is to ask yourself, this thing that is happening in my marriage, in my relationship, how am I creating it? How are you creating the thing that is happening in your marriage or relationship? Another thing you should ask yourself is, what does our relationship need from me in order for us to reconnect or for things to improve? You see, these questions are powerful because most times as human beings, we don't sit and reflect and look at why things are happening the way we are doing. We just go for solutions without looking at ourselves. I always say to people, the only person that knows you better is God and yourself. So if things are happening in your life, you should be able to look at your life and say, why is this things happening to me? It's the same thing for your marriage, because the thing is, most times we blame our partner and focus on what we need from them instead of us asking them what they actually need from us. Of course, the feelings are valid. They are very much valid, because there are days we have our feelings, we are frustrated, we are hurt. All of these are valid and they are understandable, and most times we just wish our partners can just make the change that is necessary, which is very key. However, your greatest power and leverage comes from looking at how you can change rather than how your partner can change. Your greatest power comes from how you can change rather than looking at how your partner can change. And it is what we will be addressing this month of March when talking about the poisons. We all have different human needs. The need to be loved, the need to be cared for. So the moment you are in a marriage or relationship and you don't see those needs being met, you tend to use the poisons, and those poisons will not save your marriage. Instead, they will destroy your marriage. Poisons are like this: your husband is always working and you complain every day. Instead of complaining, why not ask your husband, how can you make time so that we'll have more time together as a family? You see, complain, ask. There are two things. The next topic we'll be looking at the 10 poisons.